2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 1, 2, 3, action.
So serious.
Welcome to the Strength Students Podcast. I'm your co-host, Steve Carty.
I'm your other co-host, Nick Scopoletti.
And I'm your other co-host, Steve Carty.
We're off to a great start.
And we're here with former NFL football player, former collegiate football star, Paul Fenaroli.
What's up, Paul?
Hey guys, what's going on?
It's like waiting to make an entrance.
I'm just jump in whenever you need me.
And we're here today to talk about Paul's career in not only professional football, but how that started in college, kind of his background there, and how that led him into training and his fitness career. And not only that, but how that's leading you into your ventures now, as far as, you know, you're in law school right now, you're at Nova.
Yeah, national champions last year. Apparently it's a big deal.
Go Mongooses, man.
That's what I said. That's what I'm telling people. I don't know.
Paul's like, what is this sport? Stupid basketball.
No, but I was telling Nick it is cool. Like you're walking into the gym, the student gym every day, and you're passing the national championship trophy. That's actually kind of cool.
That's kind of dope.
It's kind of weird seeing people like standing around it, taking pictures. It's like it's just a trophy, guys.
Just people.
Word.
But it's cool.
So what are you doing now, man? So you're in school. You're in law school, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And anybody who's gone through a 1L a year knows that it's you read and you go to class and then you come back and you do homework and you go to sleep. I'd mix in a little weightlifting. But it's a good hobby to have. I've actually had a few classmates that I've kind of like dragged with me every day. And
Nice.
yeah, it's
So
very helpful.
you're getting like the law school kids to like come and lift.
Exactly. Yeah, that's my goal. Is
Dude,
have like
he hit me up, I think, like this first week there. He's like, yeah, I got this kid to come lift with me at the gym. I was like, don't scare him off, man.
No, I'm
You
trying
got to make friends.
I'm trying to be like real nice and encouraging, just like a training background for real. But that's the goal, is to have the whole like section, because we're split into 3 sections. Have the whole section just shredded. But I don't know if it's
Like
gonna
your
happen.
classes.
Yeah.
It's like fucking Hogwarts, dude. Jesus.
You guys
You guys
Slytherin?
play Quidditch and
Nah, we're the best.
lunchtime.
We're Gryffindor.
All right, sweet.
Good.
So you're training all the law school students right now.
No, I train like 2 of them. They don't know I'm training them, but yeah.
So what is your like being in school right now? What does your training look like? Like your actual training?
Cool, yeah. I'm doing 5-3-1 right now. Super helpful. I just got to be patient with it. It's tough because like you have good days and you're like, let me just jump 15 pounds. But I just mix in some hypertrophy training at the back end of it, and I have 2 days that I do explosive work, because what am I going to do for, you know, it only calls for 4 days of training a week. So
Right.
I'm just mixed in 2 more days of explosive upper, explosive lower, just to spread it out a little bit.
All right, very
It's
cool.
working for me so far. It's been 3 or 4 months, and had a good pull the other day.
Nice.
So,
Tell him your PR, dude.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it was like 455 for 11. So that's
Deadlift.
pretty good for me. Yeah,
11
it's pretty good for me.
reps or seconds.
Reps.
Holy crap, dude! Nice. What would that 1RM be?
It's pretty close to what I was doing when I was 300 pounds. So I like to. It's a constant like struggle, because I hit something big and I'm like, wow, that's impressive, but not when I was 310. So I suck. No, you don't suck. You're still doing all right.
Word.
Yeah, but dude,
Solid.
I mean, you're 250 pounds.
I know, but in my brain, I'm always.
You're 12% body fat. You're doing all right. As far as I'm concerned.
Trying, man. Keep it pretty tight, diet-wise and everything like that, too. Diet-wise is, I just started carb backloading. I like it for now. The mornings are a little rough sometimes, because really low calorie in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be, like, going into a lift at, like, 1,500 calories, that's, like, 4 or 5 o'clock at night. And then 7, I'm trying to get to bed by, like, 11. So 7 to 11 is, like, slam 2,000.
Yeah, you slam it down, right?
2,000 calories.
Oh my god.
So
That's what
And
I
what do you
find,
do though?
yeah.
Do you go like rice and potatoes, or are you slamming like shitty food like turnovers and pizza?
yeah, like the first couple of days, I was like, okay, let's try it how it says in the book, and I had like an Oreo McFlurry, and had like a couple muffins from Stop and Shop that I would never have otherwise. But like I don't like to eat like that. So right now it's a struggle of like I want to do it right the way the book calls for it, but I don't like that food. Like so, I just been using like sticky rice. Trying to get high glycemic rice and the russet potatoes sometimes, things like that.
See, I was talking
That's
with Paul.
smart.
I was talking with Paul earlier about backloading, and you guys could chime in on this. I feel like the whole like cherry tart thing that Kiefer kind of sells is used as a selling point to sell the book. Would you feel? I mean, you do want a big insulin spike, but like your body does. I don't feel like your body doesn't. I think there's studies been done where your body doesn't know like difference between like an insulin spike from a cookie or a banana.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's just throwing that in to like sell it or like because he's talked about on podcasts. He's like, yeah, I've had sweet potatoes after I work out and things like that. You're like, oh, normal food. So you're not eating cherry tarts. He goes, but he says it allots you the thing in that window. You can eat that.
Right.
He also says don't be stupid with it and go carb backloading like it's a triple cheeseburger. Like you got to know what's in it too, right? You're carb backloading for the insulin spike carbs. Don't go have 80 grams of fat, right?
Right.
Like it'll fit in, but I don't know. I'm with you. You can't be a fat kid and still, unless you want to just gain weight. Sure,
you started a fat kid, so you don't want to go back to that.
Yeah, it was a nice life. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, that was bad. It was bad. And looking back now, me and my sister both were like, what was our dad doing? Just pumping us. He'd pick us up from school, like, because my family used to own a deli, right? So he'd pick us up from school and have these apple turnovers that they have at the deli, like fresh made and bomb. But, all this junk food right after, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you could picture a middle school kid's diet throughout the day. And, perfect. As soon as we're done with class, here's your...
we just sat all day.
Mid-afternoon snack.
Yeah.
Oh,
Actually,
great.
Yeah, let's start with that. That'll be good. So, like, we talked about you as a kid. So when did your journey kind of for sports, when did it start? Like, when did you start first playing sports? What was your sport that you loved as a kid?
Yeah, I've always been, like, crazy competitive and always in love with football. My whole family has a football background. Uncles all college football players. My grandpa played with the Giants in, like, 1740. Back in the day.
No, but he went to Fordham, right?
He went to Fordham when Fordham was legit, like D1.
Mara's went there, the guys that own
like Fordham was
Giants,
Alabama, yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
So it's always been football growing up, and I always wanted to play, but we had Pop Warner growing up, so there was a weight limit, and I could never hit I wasn't even close. You remember me when I was in middle school and elementary school and stuff, so. But I always wanted to play. My cousin would be playing. He would come back from practice. I'd be like, so what did you do today? He'd be like, this is cool. No. What did you do? Exactly. Like, what was like first 10 minutes? What did you do? Oh, we stretched. And then you ran. How long did you run? Like, I want to know every detail. That's all I want to do is play football.
How do you put your pads on? Do you wash your gear every night?
Exactly, yeah.
How do you adjust a helmet?
That's funny you mentioned gear. I do remember, too. We used to have, the high school would have the summer camps for kids. And the first day you get the gear, normal kids are all set on their gear. Like, they know where to put shit. I was 12, 13 years old, and I needed to call a buddy of mine and be like, so what do I do with these hip pads? Where do I put them?
Put them on your ears, dude.
What's this butt pad thing, and why do you use this? It's really step one football.
But when you're a kid, that's a daunting task, though. Like,
the
you have all these pockets and pads, and you're like, where the fuck do all these go?
Right?
Like Legos serve me no purpose.
Seriously, where's the instruction manual? But so growing up, I did basketball and baseball and just
too big to play football.
Too big. To
that was
play
always a
football.
big thing, man. That sucked.
It was easy for my mom. She didn't want me to play, so I'd be like, she was like, "Oh, you're too fat, can't play." And then,
guess you're a fat kid, you never play ever. You're always gonna be safe. I love you.
Exactly. I was like, "Mom, I'm 8 years old. I can play with the big kids that are 12, 13." No, that's not allowed. As soon as I turned 10 or whatever, she was like, "Okay, you're allowed, but there's a weight limit. Too bad. Enjoy your cheeseburger."
So all right, so you were a little fatty, right? Couldn't play Pop Warner. So now you get a chance, you first started playing football when? Freshman year of high school?
Well, the first experience was at those summer camps, which was awesome because I was like, I finally get to do it. Great.
Right.
And I remember specifically.
But that's like for like what, like a week or two at a time or something like that?
Yeah, it's like 2 weeks. But that,
right.
Like, that's what I look forward to all year. I'm not kidding. Like, that's what I was all about.
It's like fucking holiday.
Like, season's 2 weeks long, baby.
For me, it was. Like, that's what it was about.
364 more days till hockey season.
Happy Gilmore at the fucking batting cage, taking hockey pucks to the face.
Yeah.
His dad has a jugs machine. He's just shooting footballs at him.
Yeah, man. We used to do that in baseball. We used to go out to the fields, and he would take the jugs machine and rip. Because I was a catcher. So he was like, well, we got to get better at blocking balls in the dirt, right? Take a look at these 100-mile-an-hour curveballs from the jugs machine. Just, It probably looked like child abuse from the outside but got me better at blocking balls.
There you go.
You know?
So then, go ahead.
I was going to say, so childhood, it was kind of scattered with football, and you played some other sports, but then high school is when it started to get serious for you.
Yeah, for football. Childhood was, but it was a lot of other sports, but we worked at everything. Like, it was constant work to get better and constant practice and do things until it's done, and really, like, instilled a lot of the things that I used in football, to be successful in football. But, then football started in high school, and let's see. So freshman year was your first year of football is rough for everybody, right? Like, you got to learn. The biggest thing that I learned was the rules of the game within the game, right? So you got the rules of the game, but there's also like football etiquette that's allowed and not. I remember the first scrimmage we had as a freshman. This kid was like punking me.
Yeah,
I had no idea because I didn't know what was allowed or not. I came off field. My dad was like, "Don't ever let anybody do that to you again." I was like, I thought I played all right. What do you mean?
What are the rules?
Yeah. Apparently this kid, I honestly can't remember it that well, but apparently this kid would like knock me down, and then I would try to get up and he would like push me down again, and just little shit that you wouldn't even notice was bad if you didn't know. I didn't know. So needless to say, that didn't happen again. I mean, I changed my style a little bit and was like, oh.
Yeah, tiny bit.
Check. Got it.
Well, I remember, dude, from like freshman to sophomore year was like huge difference.
I mean, in high school, I was putting on 25 pounds a year.
You started sophomore year, right?
A little bit. I wasn't good. I was just really big.
I just remember like freshman year, I was like, all right, we got Paul Fenaroli on our team now. Big kid, probably going to be, pretty good. Then sophomore year, I was like, yo, this kid's fucking...
I remember my first time. I remember I was starting, junior year, starting center. They put you at nose guard as a sophomore. I was like, oh, putting this little baby sophomore here. I was like, oh, he's kind of big. You wrecked me. It was like, he's so hard to move.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, I was like, wow, this kid's got like an attitude now. Like he's ripping.
Yeah.
And you were getting big too. What I want you to go into, so you freshman year, then a sophomore year. So now you're into football. This is all you ever wanted, right? You're doing football. So what was now like training and eating and everything like for you? Like when did you realize, oh, there's a weight room component? I have to work out and I have to eat like this. It's not just, in season.
Yeah, I still really didn't know too much about eating properly for...
Probably not healthy,
for
but
the sport.
Just, eating.
Yeah.
You were just trying to put on sheer size.
I grew up...
Smashed food, right?
I grew up eating like that, though, It was just like, whatever's in front of you just crush, pretty much. Yeah. So it played in nicely to be an lineman, but I think my dad and my family were always kind of cultivating that. Like, they could see what they were building more than I could see what was going on. But it's my good story that everybody likes to tell is when my dad invited the whole offensive line over for dinner.
I was there,
and he got a little look at like what Thursday night looked like, kind of a little bit aggressive, but he put 4 or 5 pound steaks in front of each lineman on the team, and then we had like side dishes too, and it wasn't like that every day, but I had steak in front of me, and
it was literally I was there, so I'll speak to this. I'm sitting down, like there's literally 5 pound steaks, like a few of them, and they're huge. And they were bringing out the sides, but it wasn't just like, here's a bowl of pasta for you guys to share. It was like those metal buffet trays that you would see when you'd go to like a wedding. Like metal buffet tray of salad, pasta, this, that. I was like, this is unreal. And the thing that got me was, if like you guys, or if you order Chinese food, you get those soup containers and you like wash them out and save them. Paul used to drink out of that, like milk.
Yeah.
Just whole milk in the washed out soup container with his steak and everything. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, oh my God, this makes so much sense.
This is it.
I wonder why he's a freak.
We did food a little differently in my household, but I mean, like I said, like my dad invested a lot of time, a lot of energy, and his awareness was much broader than mine. But like you mentioned the milk, he used to bring me and my sister when we first started working out, YMCA right down the road, right? He'd be in there with his old college football pants cut well above the knee, if you guys can imagine this.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, like they used to cut their pants and it looked badass, but we didn't know. We were like, that's so stupid.
No, it has to be below the knee, man.
Yeah. But afterwards, me and my sister would get a quart. No, it might have been a half gallon. I'm not sure. Chocolate milk. And we would finish it by the time we went from the gym to get dropped off at our mom's house.
Oh, my God.
solid post workout though. We didn't-
Seriously, though, yeah. I mean,
Chocolate
especially at
milk.
that age, it's like
You don't
At
even
that
know.
age, like, and your
Pretty
dad's
flexible.
just thinking like, oh, this is milk, it's protein, it's everything
Yeah.
I need. But like, not to get all nerdy, there's actual studies that have shown like chocolate
Yeah.
milk post workout is one of the best things you could have.
What's up? Backloading that we didn't know about.
Right.
How you doing? Insulin spike.
carb night with Mr. Fenaroli.
There it is. I should stop thinking so much about it and go get some chocolate milk. Right?
So you're high school now, like football's starting to come into fruition. Senior year is when you started to get like recruited, or junior year?
Nah, senior year. Yeah, I wasn't. I mean, I don't think I was that good where I was getting recruited like sophomore, junior. I was a big kid, but I was only 6'2", you know. And coming out of Connecticut, we don't get the best recruiters. We get
Yeah,
No, yeah.
especially UConn, which is weird.
well, you see it. I mean, once you go play in college, you see the good recruiters, and they're down south, and they're in
Yeah,
Cali.
no, it's true. It's true.
And especially at schools like Stonybrook, they're recruiting the junior colleges mostly.
Right.
So we get the new assistant coaches and GAs recruiting our area. And that's the way it is because Connecticut. So prove yourself. What are you going to do?
So who was looking at you senior year? Like senior year, having a great year. Your quarterback is like so sexy,
So sexy.
doing great,
Killing
like,
it.
killing it. Who's
If no-
recruiting
if no
you?
one caught that.
What teams are like recruiting you at this point? Like what college teams?
Colgate was very interested. A lot of Patriot League schools. And UMass was the big one, right? Not a lot of look from UConn. All right. Mark that in the bank.
That's weird.
But you know what? And I don't want to bad talk them. They do that a lot to CT kids for some reason.
Well, I was good. That's why I say it's not just you. Like it's
Yeah.
for some reason. it's a
current
big
NFL
Connecticut
player,
thing.
Tyler Medicavage went to St. Joe's. UConn snubbed him.
Aaron
So-
Hernandez.
So he went to Temple. Aaron Hernandez went to Florida. Like
And, you know, given we don't know all the ins and outs of recruiting, obviously, and obviously Aaron Hernandez,
Right,
I think
yeah.
was a bigger talent than UConn. But
oh yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
so a couple schools.
Yeah, I was a little undersized for playing right tackle and nose guard in high school. What was I coming out? Like 6'2", 265 probably. But I can move. I mean, did well in wrestling in high school too and everything like that.
Yeah,
so.
go into that a little bit because there's one thing like there's there's athletes that are like this kid is a football player, like he's only good at football. Like we know guys like that, like he could block and do all that stuff. But you also did wrestling. You were a catcher in baseball, and you had accolades in that. You probably could have went to college of wrestling. If you
Yeah, and you really see the trends shifting now. Like Urban Meyer saying that he doesn't like the only football players, right? He wants
Right.
athletes because they're athletes. I mean, they're going to be good in the next level, hopefully. But
right.
yeah, but as far as schools that were interested was UMass. I almost went there, right? So they had offered me. I had accepted verbally. They came to check me out during a wrestling practice. Unfortunately for my teammate that day, there was a college recruiter there, so I murdered him for like an hour, just killed him. But right after UMass was like, all right, yeah, we want you, so you have a scholarship offer. Great, I'm in. I'm coming. Next day, they call me up, and Murphy, our football coach, he calls me in. He's like, yo, UMass pulled their offer, man. Sorry.
Damn.
I was like, what? Like,
They just pulled it the next day.
yeah, somebody else. I think a buddy of mine actually had signed with them who played at another high school in Connecticut. So they got him. They wanted him more than me. That's the way it goes, you know. They only have so many scholarships, right? Yeah. In the meantime, Stonybrook had been actively pursuing me, but for some reason I was just like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. I just wasn't. Stonybrook. You never really heard of them.
Yeah,
So I call up the coach, great friend of mine now, great guy, that recruited me, Coach Berriman, Coach Jeff Berriman, who's over at Union now. He just got the coaching job there. And I call him up. I'm like, all right, yeah, UMass, just in this tone, UMass, pulled their scholarship. I guess I'll come for that visit. He's like, you sound pretty excited.
You're like, I'm fucking thrilled.
I was like, no, all right. So I visit that one school. It was cool. I wish I had taken more visits. Not that I would have chosen a different school. My experience at Stonybrook was awesome. Just, I was playing baseball at the time, which was kind of, it wasn't very important based on how good I was at football.
Right.
And compared to how good I was at baseball. So I wish I had taken more college visits, but, I didn't. I took one, and I liked it well enough and signed. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Oh man. So go through your career at Stonybrook, like what, from kind of day one, your progression as a football player through, not only getting better as an athlete, but a football player as well.
All right, so the first day I came in, I thought I was going to be a guard, and the first day they gave me a football. They're like, you're going to learn to snap this. and be a center. All right, cool, whatever. They basically gave me my own coach. They had a graduate assistant, Coach Mike. I hope he's not listening. I forgot his name right now. His last name. I called him Coach Mike every day. What are you going to do?
That's fine. Coach Mike.
Yeah, Coach Mike.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Mike.
Yeah, so he took me under his wing for sure. And an injury happened, and I ended up having to play. I think I missed the first 3 games or something like that. And then I started every game at center for the next 4 years.
So first 3
Solid.
games of your freshman year, you didn't play. And
Yeah.
then from someone got hurt, and then you were in until you graduated.
Yep. And it wasn't even
Freshman
like
year
the
on.
center got hurt, like a guard got hurt. They had to move people over, and they were like, "Oh, you're up." So that was interesting. And again, you get serious learning curve. I was not ready to play college football. I don't think any player is ready to play their first year.
Yeah, what was your experience like? You get there, like, so you come. I mean, like, you come out of high school, but everyone does if you're on a scholarship. Everyone's good,
Yep.
right? Everybody's good. You had all state, all New England, whatever accolades, right? So you get there. What was your like first experience where you're like, damn, this is so different? I'm gonna have this is gonna be a little bit of an adjustment. Like, what was your first experience with that?
I never really felt that, to be honest. It wasn't like I ever felt overwhelmed. It's always constantly, am I doing the right things? Am I, just striving to get better a little bit at a time? Almost in some cases a little bit too passive in that sense. Like,
Right.
It might be better to be like, yeah, I could do this. Yes, I'm going to be more dominant and step up as a leader, as a freshman, as a sophomore. It doesn't matter. Be a leader. But these are things that you learn as you go through life. At that time, I was still just turned 18 years old, and I was a young 18 years old. I wasn't. It took me a little bit longer to mature.
Right.
So, yeah.
So you play your
I was
4
just-
years. Play your 4 years at Stonybrook.
Before we advance, if you were going, I just wanted to ask about
go ahead.
just like what was as far as you mentioned in high school, like nutrition, strength training. You kind of mentioned like wasn't really sure about that, how that played a big role. How did that change once you got to college? Like, what was that like for you at Stonybrook as far as strength training, nutrition, things like that?
Yeah, that was great. I'm starting out my athletic career. I had a lot of great influences on me that are just God given. They're just put in front of me in great times in my life. Growing up, one of my best friends, neighbor, was all about weightlifting. Right, he was a bodybuilder for a little while, but that was his hobby. So I learned a lot from him, and I really looked up to him as far as like what to be doing during high school too. So I would go lift with him whenever I could, and that was just part of life. And then another buddy of mine that I was on the same school bus as, this kid's a savage, right? He's just aggressive in every aspect of his life. So this is the starting guard in high school when I'm coming in, and he's 1 year ahead of me. Perfect. Both these guys are. So these people that I can look up to and look and see this is how it's done. This kid would be in the squat rack in school just crushing weight. Just, in my mind, that's how you do it. Great. Okay. So everything was just aggression and pointing me in the right direction to be successful in football. I had a lot of great influences like that, and really advanced my athletic career. I get to college, and it just continued from there. I mean, I already had an interest in strength training and weightlifting and fitness. I wouldn't say fitness. It was more just like football fitness, where it's more just like
performance, sports specific.
right, exactly.
That was your. I mean, that
Sports
was your goal.
specific training. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I just think of fitness differently now, but.
Like you're in college, you're not gonna be like, Paul, this is what you're gonna have to do to stay fit and healthy
Yeah,
long term. They're like,
not quite.
dude, keep eating until you're full, so you're 300 pounds and be
Pretty
super
much.
fucking strong.
Yeah.
Because we need you to murder those kids on the field.
Here's a peanut butter and jelly and a Gatorade shake. Go to work. Yeah, but of course I was still, like I said, I was young. Every young kid thinks they know it all weightlifting wise. Now I realize no matter how much you know, you'll never know it all, and everybody always knows something more than you. So there's always stuff to learn, but I had no idea that. It's great. So yeah, I get into college, and of course, me and the strength coach kind of clashed a little bit in a lot of our ways that we want to do things, because I was all like, what'll make my muscles bigger? And this is stupid.
Right.
Why would I ever just do 3 reps? That's not enough.
We're not gonna do 5 sets of 20 today. What the fuck's wrong with this strength coach?
I don't feel like I'm working hard enough. Whatever. I was dumb, but I still got strong. So
Right.
and that's lifting, right? It doesn't exactly matter what you do. CrossFit, bodybuild, strongman. All right, you can get real specialized if you're talking about the 1%ers in the world.
Right.
Other than that, go pick stuff up.
Yeah.
Honestly, though.
We overcomplicate.
Dan John says best. He's like, everything works, just not forever.
Right.
And then Rich Froning also said it best. He's like, every day you should breathe really heavy, and he's like, you should breathe really heavy and lift something really heavy. It's like so simple.
For real. I mean, there's no, and that's the thing to eat. I don't even know what to say. That's right. Like there's literally people get so caught up in like, well, I do this program. This is my system. This is what why are you doing that? That's stupid. It's like, yo, it all works.
Yeah, I mean, just use a stimulus and your body will adapt to it.
There's even been like studies that show like people that do sets of like 6 reps versus people do sets of 15 and they have the same response or something. You're like, it's all right, you know.
So it could have been that simple though. Like as far as like the Stonybrook strength and conditioning program, like what was that? I mean, was that like conjugate style stuff? Was it explosive stuff or heavy stuff?
Do you remember?
Yeah, it was a mixture of everything. It was tough because we had one strength coach. Stonybrook was in a little bit different place than it is now.
Oh shit! You had one coach?
We had we had one coach and he had a couple assistants. But
and how many guys on the team?
80, right? 70, 80?
Yeah, or like right around there.
But yo, this was one strength coach for every sport. He was working with the lacrosse team, everything. So
it wasn't just for he was for
wow,
every
that's
sport.
insane.
Yeah.
That's insane.
So now you see Stonybrook ripping because they got they had their own strength coach for a while. They had a brand new weightlifting facility. We were kind of
coming up, dude.
Exactly.
You made him that money, dude. Put the asses in the seats.
Yeah, right.
You're like, I'm gonna snap his ball and knock
Snapped
this
it so
person
good. Just block those big kids so well.
So take us through your training in college. You get into weightlifting. Now take us through. Your food was pretty impressive. I'm not gonna lie. I remember, I remember you in high school coming to the table with like a garbage bag full of like, "It's my lunch."
So again,
like
that's
it's
my
over
dad.
your shoulder. Like, here we go, it's my lunch. But as far as I remember coming to visit you in college, you had like a separate fridge just for your food and like a mini fridge and the real fridge. I remember all that stuff. So go into like. Give us a day of eating or like training in the off season. Say
my dad and my grandpa were just awesome. They were all about food and just they would send down these shipments of like steak and chicken and
those
potatoes. Yeah. Not in the trays, in like bags.
Ziploc bags.
Yeah. But in mass quantities.
Like boxes, like FedEx boxes in the mail.
You ready for this? What we did for a while.
Yes, please do it. Go ahead.
My dad made a lot of trips down. They were at every game. My dad and my grandpa, so they were always coming down to Long Island. But once I was a little older and living off campus and had my car down there, I would actually take the ferry on Sundays with this cooler. Take a trip on the ferry, walk on, $15, whatever. Go see my dad, maybe hang out for a little bit, pick up the shipment of food,
load
like
it up,
was like drugs. Yep.
You got the shit, Dad.
Exactly.
If there's not 4 dozen eggs and 9 pounds of steak, I'm coming back.
I get back on the ferry and just do another week, man.
Is this the good shit laced with aminos? That's insane, dude. So you're just getting like shipped food, just like slamming it down.
Yep.
If you could give an estimate of like calories a day, what would you say?
I have no idea because I wasn't even in the realm of counting calories at that time.
Right. It's tough to gauge.
Yeah, it was probably like 3,000 or 4,000.
Damn.
Yeah. But then some days it was probably 6. Like you go to some of those delis down there. You can't help it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
In Long Island.
Oh yeah.
I'd probably say like 5 to 6 for you.
Yeah.
Damn, that's a lot of food.
Because you came in, what did you come in freshman year at, and then what did you leave at senior year?
Honestly, I wasn't. I left probably like 285. I probably only put on 20 pounds in college because I didn't need to. It wasn't. We were still. I mean, not to downgrade anything, but I was a center. I didn't have to be huge.
Right.
I had to move, and we were playing, Colgate and Brown, for example. Like our biggest game that I played was against University of South Florida. So it was a little different when I got to the NFL, and there was like, I had one game that I played in the UFL with 2 400-pounders in front of me. 2 of them.
Jesus.
The fuck?
So was that an easy game? You just crushed them?
Yeah, it was easy. We threw them all over the place. The coach called 3 draws right at him.
You literally just had 2 trucks in front of you, dude.
And he called 3 draws at him. Me and the guard.
Like, this guy has a lot of faith in me.
They're like, Fenaroli, you got this. Your dad's in the crowd. He throws you a cooler of steak. You take it down. You grow like Mario, like when he eats a mushroom.
The guard and I came off the field. We're like, Coach, come on, dude. Really? Coach was like, my bad.
This was UFL or arena?
UFL, yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right, so we'll go into like, so now played 4 years at Stonybrook. Senior year, you became captain, correct?
Yep.
So when did it start to sink in that, like, you know, that you could go to the NFL, that you could actually play at that level?
I remember I was a junior and I was back in, I remember the road we were driving on in Monroe. I was back home for whatever reason, and my dad, when I was a junior in college, mentioned something about the NFL, and I remember thinking that's totally ridiculous. Like, there's no, I can't play in the NFL. I play at Stonybrook. Like, there's no way. It was just, it never crossed my mind that it was possible. And then senior year came around, and, you start kind of comparing yourself, but there's always a thought of that you can't compete with those guys because those guys are on TV, those Division I guys,
Right?
Like, they're not real; they're on TV.
Yeah. They're superstars,
kinda, yeah. And that's how you feel about the NFL guys too. But then you compete with them, and you realize they're not. In a lot of cases, they're not even as good as you. So
they just grew up in a state that has a lot of big schools. Like, for example, like
they were 6'4" in a lot of cases, and
right, they were 6'4", you were 6'2", 6'3", or whatever.
Exactly, and they grew up in good
Florida,
football states,
Texas,
got recruited,
California, right?
But
So it was around like junior year you kind of started to think about the NFL?
senior year, I would say, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you were thinking of getting drafted, or you were thinking of joining practice teams? Like, what was kind of the thought process?
I was thinking, like, I have to play really well every game to have any chance at playing after this, and there's a small opportunity. I didn't even realize what I might have to do or anything like that until after the season was over, and it's helpful in that way to have the fall season because then you have all year to prep for combines and pro days and things like that. And it showed in the first pro day actually how naive I was because they have an initial scouting come in sometimes. And these scouts came in. We were supposed to run our 40 for them and do some other drills or whatever. This is a good story. So I'm like, man, I'm 285.
Uh-oh.
We good.
We okay?
We're good now.
Yeah.
So I was 285, and somebody had told my father and I that I had to be 290 to even get looked at, 295 or whatever it was. I was like, man, I got to put on 5 pounds. Honestly, how would you put on 5 pounds if you had a night? Right now.
A night?
Yeah, you had one night. How would you put on 5 pounds?
Pizza, pasta.
Pizza, really?
Yeah.
Now I would go with water, I would say. Manipulate that over water, right?
All right.
But I had a lot of practice at it, honestly. And my first thought was, great, I got to put on 5 pounds. How about meatloaf? Sounds good. 5 pounds of meatloaf later, right? The next, I don't know how much
eat the equivalent of what I need to get in meatloaf.
I don't know how much I ate, but the next day I went to go run that 40 in sneakers on our basketball court. The dumbest thing ever. If anybody listen, here's some great advice. If anybody's coming out of college and wants to go to the NFL or whatever, and they put you and ask you to run a 40 in less than optimal conditions, no, I'm good. I tweaked my hamstring, can't do it today for whatever reason. Never run that thing until you're ready. I ran a 5.4, whatever it was, something. I had sneakers on, and I was only throwing up from meatloaf, which I didn't weigh in at the.
This kid smells like meatloaf, and it's 40 sucked.
Cut him.
Yeah,
cut his ass.
So interest went down a little bit there.
Meatloaf.
Yeah, but manipulating it through water though. After that time, I was probably walking around at 295, 300 when I would be doing weigh-ins. After that, for the NFL, I had weigh-ins all the time. I was 310 every time on the dot. Water. I would drink a gallon and a half of water right before weighing in. Oh, what's up?
Oh my God!
What's up? 8 pounds that I just put on.
Water. I just met her.
Cheat the system in every way that you can.
What about for your height? Did you have to do anything to cheat the height system?
You know about this? You know about a couple?
Maybe I don't. Maybe I do.
All right. So one time, I would always
talk to my lawyer, Paul Fenaroli.
Yeah. I would always try to go on my tippy toes, and that worked sometimes. Most of the time, not. One time they let me wear socks. Great. So I put the soles, those extra soles that you can buy, I put those in between my feet and the socks. And I was half-inch taller. Sick.
Are you serious?
One time, they didn't care that I was wearing my shoes. I had boots on and 2 soles in there. I think I was 6'4" that day.
Damn.
Yeah. I was I'm going to make every team now. 6'4". But in actuality, I'm 6. Most of the time, I was 6'2" and 1/8. I just had a doctor measure me at 6'1 3/4. I was so mad. Just recently, but I can't be
Like,
shrinking
do that
already.
again.
Do it again.
Do it again.
I was like, hold on, I got to do my skills here.
All right, so you did that now. So you realize the NFL is it's possible, right? So talk about your combine numbers. So talk about training for that, and how is it different for, like, you know, you went from training just to be strong for a sport. Now it's like you have these tests. This is what you need to be good at.
Yeah, I basically did that for 2 years. Just trained for combine tests and was on teams for short periods of time. I was down in Long Island training at Revolution Athletics with Justin Cole down there.
Future guest.
Yeah. Like, honestly, one of the best athletic trainers you could find. The guy's been doing stuff that I see coming out now in, like, fitness and athletic training news. I'm like, Justin was doing that
5
before
years
he
ago.
met me.
Ahead of the curve.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. It's unbelievable. So he was like the best trainer I could have. Every little detail was accounted for with every movement. My shuttle numbers were there with linebackers, like top linebackers going into the NFL. My vertical was a record if I was at the national combine when I did it, 35.5.
And you're at 6'3", 110 pounds.
Yeah.
With that
At the time.
Yeah, like, honestly, I was 6'2" and a half, whatever, 305 if we're being specific.
with a 35.5-inch vert.
Yeah, I was pretty explosive.
As a center.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Like,
crazy.
You know,
Yeah.
that's go through all your other, like, 225 reps, the shuttle numbers.
Justin took it real personal. One of the scouts said that I had a bad, unexplosive first step, or that needed help or something. He was like, "Yeah, no first step, huh? Watch this, like, vertical through the roof, like, that's all explosive first step stuff." Bench press, you know, but keep in mind, like, this is what I was working on for 2 years, so it should be pretty good.
Right.
But I hit 36. In training, I hit 38. Was my best 225.
That's high.
Yeah,
That's really fucking high.
all my numbers were top, like, 3 or 4, so I was legit in there. But you know, I did some, like, regional combines. I never got to a national combine for they have they have regional one, a combine, and then you could go to a national one. It's kind of like second tier, the one that you watch on NFL.
Oh yeah.
Right. So I did that and did pretty well. That's where my interest would come from, because they would be like, "Damn, this kid's out of Stonybrook, but he's got some numbers on him," you know.
That's what I was gonna say, man. When we would speak during those times, and you would tell me your 5.10.5, your shuttle numbers. You're like, yeah, man, I'm right up there with the tight ends. I'm like, why are you not? Like, I mean, it doesn't dictate a football player.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Exactly.
But, like, damn, dude.
But in your situation, coming from a school like Stonybrook, that's gonna help you tremendously.
You need it. The most important thing, though, is always the game tape. Like, you can't lie about that.
Right.
And, you know.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Mine was okay, but again, the competition wasn't what they were looking for. So the first year I got to look from oh man, it was a lockout year, so that screwed me.
Yeah.
So there was no draft.
Oh yeah, your year was the lockout year.
That was the worst part
Solid
of it.
time to come out.
So I had a great agent. I got hooked up with my agent through one of our assistant coaches, mutual friend, Gerald Colton. He's down in New Jersey. But it was just a bad year to come out and be right on the cusp there, because there was no draft. So that means that there was no OTAs or rookie minicamps. It didn't exist that year. So you had 4 months to make a team. Not 4 months, 4 weeks. Barely.
I forgot about that shit.
More like 3 weeks to make a team.
Right.
So you have 3 weeks to prove that you're better than the guy that knows the system and did it last year. Good luck, bro. Without the team investing a draft pick in
That's
you,
a huge
or
challenge.
a signing bonus in you, so very low probability there of making the team. Just money wise for the team, risk and reward. Can't blame them. But so yeah, I think the Packers showed an initial interest, and then the lockout happened again. It was off for a second, and then it was back on, and great. So I graduated Stonybrook, and before graduation even occurred, I was out in Iowa playing arena football. So
before you even graduate college, you were playing semi-pro football.
I didn't go to the graduation, but as soon as the classes were done, I took off and did arena. That was interesting. Arena's a little bit like a circus. You guys had a...
Oh, yeah.
I had a front row seat to that circus. We're like, Steve and I were there watching you play the Philadelphia Soul. We're like 2 little kids. Like ice cream, volleyball.
Ice cream falling from the ceiling, crowd volleyball, and Fat Joe's there performing at halftime.
For real.
It's crazy.
So my first night out there, I get out, flew out there, and I didn't have any food or anything, right? So this guy picks me up. Great. We have to drive from like Omaha to Iowa. I don't know. It was like a 6-hour trip.
Oh, God.
He was like, you want something to eat? I was like, I thought it was on his. I didn't understand. I thought it was on his like tab. I didn't have any money on me, so I was like, no, I'm good. Whatever. I was nervous. Like, this is my first time out of, All right. So he drops me off. I'm like starving. Like, damn, I should have gotten something to eat. But it's like 2:00 in the morning. He drops me off at this like hood setup that they have for the players out there. It's arena football in Iowa. And there's this like almost tornado that night. I swear the building was like shaking straight. Like I thought I was. I
love the Midwest.
I was like saying my prayers. Like I just flew out to Iowa. It's the first time I'm out of like Connecticut, Long Island. That's the same area basically. First time I'm out of the state, and there's gonna be a hurricane above my head. I'm all like, oh man, shit, terrible. So I don't know. I survived that one. The first meeting I go to, this is a good one too. I was sitting down in the meeting. I'm like 10 minutes early, probably like the first one in there.
And this is arena still?
Arena, yeah. We do a practice and everything. We do a meeting, whatever. And the team starts to funnel in. And one kid gets in and kind of stands behind the door, another kid. And this other kid walks in, and the kid that was standing behind the door just straight like jumped him. Apparently, like the second kid that walked in the door had taken his hat or like disrespected him in some way. Straight up fight, like first meeting. I'm like, oh, this is mad professional. So this is great.
Good start.
Yeah, so happy I decided on football. So that was fun. And then so I did that for, I don't know, that was like 8 weeks till the end of that season, because it was like midway through the season already. And then I went right into, so I basically just did a football season, 8 weeks, 8 games. I played every game. And then I went with the Falcons for training camp. So
that was the first team you signed with in the NFL?
Yeah, yep. So it was a good warm-up. Arena was like a good warm-up, like, oh, I could do this with these Division I kids.
Yeah.
So there wasn't that same intimidation, that there is always an initial intimidation. Whenever you're facing someone new, it doesn't, you never know how you're going to do. I was just telling Nick about that. Like, it's so much self-doubt. It's so hard to get over that until the first play happens. And then, oh, all right. Yeah, I'll be all right. Yeah. So that's always fun in football, that anxiety before the game.
Did you have like a welcome to the NFL moment where you're like, damn, this is like you're there with like probably superstars, I assume, on the Falcons. You're meeting some guy like Matt Ryan and things, or you're like, oh my God. Or you're just like, no, I'm just here to play. I need a job. Like,
I don't know. It wasn't like a welcome to the NFL moment. I never got like jacked up, in practice.
You're not like a wide receiver going across the middle. You're just you're
an offensive lineman.
They actually liked me a lot because I would like really try to hurt people out there, like really throw kids around, and they just weren't ready for that type of aggression in a lot of cases. Because when you're professional, you don't practice at that speed. It's not that's not professional football. You have to be more professional, if you will, right? So practice at a little bit slower tempo to make sure everybody's healthy. I didn't get that. I was coming out of Stonybrook. I was a new kid.
Right. Did they also kind of respect that, though? Like, all right, here's a kid really trying to make the team.
No, not the veterans. They don't. They're trying to stay healthy. This is their job.
Right,
it's very serious. But they like to see it happen to other people. Yeah? So, like the other rookies, I could throw around all I wanted. That didn't matter. So
there you go.
They enjoyed watching that. The welcome to the NFL, that part, I'm walking through the locker room, and I didn't really know who was on the team. And I don't follow the NFL like that. But I walked past one of the lockers, and it's like T. Gonzalez. I was like, holy shit. It's Tony Gonzalez's locker. He was on the jersey in the Disney in the Disney show. The jersey.
What a fucking nerd!
I know, right? But it was just cool. Like, man, I was 8 years old.
Excuse me, Mr. Gonzalez. Weren't you on the jersey on the Disney Channel?
What it is though is it's like that's all right. So these are real people, Because before that, Tony Gonzalez was like on TV. He wasn't.
Yeah, right.
He's really right there. So it's a little bit eye-opening, I guess. I don't know. It's like, but at the same time, it kind of ruins it. Because you're like, oh, they're just normal people.
Oh, it's just a normal guy.
That's cool. So you're with the Falcons for how long? For the whole training camp?
The training camp that year was like 5 weeks.
Okay. All right.
So, yeah, till the end. I made the last cut, at least. I mean, I got as far as you can get before having to go home.
Right.
21st birthday.
Cut you on your 21st birthday.
Damn.
Go have a drink, idiot.
Oh yeah, had a couple that night.
But I'm sure.
I was all alone in Pennsylvania.
So after that, you get cut from the Falcons. Are you thinking like, I know your personality. You're probably like, oh, I give up. But like, were you like, oh man, what do I do now? Like, I just went this whole. I made final cuts. What's my? Where do I go now?
Not really, because they do tell you, and it's very true. If you do get cut, there's always an opportunity. In a lot of cases, there'll be another opportunity. In most cases, obviously, there will not, because there's more people in training camp than there is on the rosters, right? But they try to keep that hope alive because they know how much effort you've put into it, and they don't want people to just get crushed when they get cut. They want to keep some positivity to it. So there is a little bit, and anybody that gets cut thinks that they'll have another opportunity, I would say. I was fortunate enough that I did get another opportunity, so it played out nicely. I mean, I trained. I went back and trained for the rest of that year back in Long Island. And then I ended up going down to Florida, which was a great experience, playing with the Orlando Predators down there, arena football again, which I had a great time doing. And it was, it's not my favorite type of football because arena football is so basic and a lot of passing, and it's the same blocking scheme every time. There's not a lot of thinking involved, so it's not real football. But you get to hit a little bit, and you get some film out there.
Up. Yeah.
The biggest part is then I got picked up by the. And before that, I'm sorry, the Packers picked me up for a short period. That was great. That was awesome too. I mean, I got to fly out there, see Lambeau Field, which is incredible.
That's dope.
I was out there for about a week, and then they had a safety got injured or something during the game. I'm watching the game. I'm like, damn, he just got hurt. This could mess me up. I'm like, no. But so that's pretty much what happened. They needed to bring in a safety. It's all about roster spots. I was the low man on the totem pole. See you later.
Damn. Just like that.
Hell yeah.
Fuck.
Just like that.
It's
yeah.
crazy.
Just treat you like a piece of meat, man.
Yeah. I guess.
And so what were the next couple? You played for a couple other teams, right?
Yeah, so then I went down to the Predators. Great time.
Orlando Predators is the arena team, correct?
Yeah, that was the arena team. The best part about that is that after that, the Saints picked me up for their training camp that year. Again, late in the training camp operation, I guess, if you know. But the coach, Aaron Cromer, this is after the whole Bountygate scandal. So I had a lot of cool things. Like right when I went to the Packers, they had just won the Super Bowl the previous year. When I went to the Saints, they had just gone through the Bountygate. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Bountygate thing.
Yep.
So Aaron Cromer was the offensive line coach and then became the head coach for a few games that year, I believe. But he told me that he picked me up because I was the best lineman in arena. So I was like, great. I'm glad I did it. I went back to arena. So it helped me out in that sense. Same situation happened, though. I mean, training camp ended. I only had 4 weeks to make the team, and he was like, you killed it. But, you didn't kill it well enough to take somebody's job. So, sorry.
Damn.
And then after that, trained for a little bit longer. The Giants eventually picked me up. Same situation happened. Somebody got hurt, got cut. I think I was a little bit too short. I think I was shorter than they expected. Person.
They're like, hey, man, you don't have your lifts on?
Yeah.
Do you want to put something in your sock real quick?
I don't know.
Need some meatloaf?
A part of me thinks, I was a Long Island athlete from Stonybrook. I think they might have been throwing Stonybrook a bone. Might have been a friendship thing with my agent. I don't know. It doesn't matter, but I don't know. I didn't feel like the same level of interest there as I did in the other places.
Well, I mean, what a cool experience for you, though, dude. And it's not like one of those experiences where it wasn't like a handout where they're like, let's give this kid a good experience. It's like you earned that shit, man.
Yeah.
And like you bounce around between a couple of teams, but it's like you earn the experience to go like see an NFL locker room, play in an NFL field, like play at the highest level of your sport. I mean, that's incredible, man.
Yeah, it is really cool to see those things like the stadiums and for sure the facilities that they have set up for these guys and just get a taste of life. It's pretty cool. I'm glad I didn't get too much of a taste of it though, because it can get. I mean, these stories about people going broke. I mean, it's real. I mean, these kids are getting thousands, hundreds of thousands, and some tens of thousands in most cases, checks a week for 16 weeks, and then. Nothing. So you got to have some financial responsibility there, and that's how these players go broke.
Even guys, what do the guys on practice squad make? You were on the practice squad. What do those dudes make?
Yeah, it's just under 100. It's a lot of money,
right?
For 16 weeks.
But at 16 weeks, you make $100,000. You got to make that last. until for the whole year.
Yeah,
You know
exactly.
what I'm saying? Like, you
Exactly.
can't be like, oh, I'm making $7,000 a week. Like, it's right.
So then what was after the NFL?
What was your last team? Who was the last
All
team?
right, so
you were
by
with?
that time, I had been doing this for like 2 years now. I went and after the Giants, honestly, I was kind of over it. I could, and my trainer could tell. I went back to train again for combines again. I mean, that's the only option that you have. You just keep training, and so I went to do that again. But it wasn't. I didn't have my heart in it like before, and it showed in my training, showed in my numbers a little bit. They went down a little bit, and that was it. I didn't get a call the next year, and I wasn't mad about it. I had enough of being 300 pounds and like right on the cusp there. And that's I tell the football guys now that I know if you want to play football, you'll be playing football, right? So as long as you have an opportunity, go do it. Doesn't matter where. It doesn't matter if it's Canada, Europe, wherever. So I had some offers to play arena, and I was like, nah, I'm not really, So as soon as I made those decisions, you're done.
Right.
So
do
I
you
wanted
feel
to move on to the next aspect.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, you felt like kind of emotionally and mentally checked out, like, I'm ready for the next thing?
Yeah, mostly interested in, like, what's next in life. Because I could see, like, you can't play football when you're 70, right?
But it seemed like you were at peace with that, though. You weren't, like, in a deep depression because you didn't make the NFL. Like, it seemed like you were at peace with moving on.
Always good. Always ready to... It's a growth thing, too. I always have a passion to continue to grow and continue to see what's next, and it hasn't stopped, so...
And also, how old are you when this ended? When your career?
Yeah, I was only like 20. I was like
22,
23. Yeah.
All right, so you're 23, and like, how many people are at 23? Like, my career's over. What do I do next?
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely
interesting.
Yeah,
for sure.
it's an interesting thing, and you're so young.
It's tough too, and I could feel for these guys that come out and do get cut, and they're 23 years old, and it becomes who you are. Really, like to play football like that at that level is totally your personality. Like remember Coach Mike that I mentioned would always try to tell me, like, remember, this is what you do. It's not who you are. I was like, all right, yeah, I got it.
That's a great message.
I guess, but I was always like, this has to be who I am. Like, you don't understand how important this is to me. Like, everything that I do is like I'm eating like this all the time, and I could have given more. Like, you always look back and say I could have given more, but I was giving a lot, and definitely making it who I was, aggression and personality wise. I can't bring that same personality into the real world now, especially when I went into training with clients like that. My whole personality had to change for that to be able to relate to people.
Is that the first thing you did after the NFL was training?
Yeah, what was your thought process where you're like, all right, what do I do now? What do I want to do?
Yeah, well, I mean, like Justin over at Revolution Athletics was a huge influence on me. Just the way he thinks is awesome to me and amazing, and just the way he lives his life has been a great influence on me. What's going on?
A little sick, fighting through.
Yeah. So yeah, I wanted to get into. It was an easy transition. I didn't want to coach because of the time commitment with coaching. Oh, they do not play. That is.
Yeah, that's usually the route. So like, let's talk on that a little bit. Is most players, they're like, all right, I'm done.
Coach.
They're either like the high level guys like Michael Strahan, all those dudes. They go they're announcers now, right? They're on Fox Sports. Other guys go into coaching. Usually, they don't want to leave the sport. So what made you want to go to the training side? Like, I really like this fitness aspect. I don't want to coach the sport. I don't want to coach football.
Yeah, it was just always my hobby, and it was what I was really actually passionate about, especially towards the end. I mean, what was I doing for the last 2 or 3 years? I was training for working mechanics on how to get faster, little tiny things. So I really was into that world already.
It's almost like it was like, and you didn't know at the time, but it was almost like you were getting set up for the next chapter of your life.
Absolutely. Almost. I was much more of a professional. I mean, I spent much more time being a professional or learning to be a athletic trainer than I did football. Like actual football skills. So I hit up Justin. I was like, what's the best certification I could get to get into this athletic training field? He was like, CSCS. I was like, good deal. So I studied, I got the book and everything, whatever.
And what is CSCS?
Certified Strength and Conditioning Specialist, right?
Through the NSCA?
Yeah.
Word.
I have it.
Yeah.
It's only me and Paul have it. That's it. Just us two.
But I mean, apparently it's a pretty hard test to pass, right?
It is tough. I mean, especially, and me and you, we talked about this because we came out of different things. Like, your undergrad was marketing at Stonybrook.
Yeah.
My undergrad was exercise science. Mm-hmm. My book, all of senior year, was the book you read to get ready for the test.
I was going to say, you had a class for the test, right?
The NSCA, that's it. Like they are the, there's other certs and they're fine. Not saying anything's the better or worse, but like that was it. So like I remember barely studying for the test, and Paul was like, "Yo," like he was so nervous, and I was like, "No, man, it's easy." But I just did it for 4 years,
Right?
And then 6 months after I graduated, I took it, and I was like, "Oh, this is everything I've been doing for the last 4 years of my life." So it's easy. But coming from that background where you're like, I couldn't imagine coming out of school with a marketing degree and then learning all of that stuff on my own. Like reading about the Krebs cycle and ATP, like shoot me in the face. Like, oh my God, who willingly wants to learn,
It's a tough read.
It plays into what I'm doing now. I do enjoy like reading and gaining knowledge. It's I don't know. It's a good hobby.
Nice. So you had a couple jobs like personal training
or training athletes, strength coach. You were at Revolution first.
Oh yeah, for a little bit. But that was while I was like still technically training for the NFL. So I did get some experience training kids there. And then I studied. I came back home after a while. There's no reason to be on Long Island anymore. So came back home for like 6 months, I think it was. I studied half-assed for 2 months and then hard for 2 months, I would say. Took the test, passed it, sure. Got a couple training jobs, just personal training, smaller places around town. And then I got a corporate training job, which I wasn't sure about, but it was awesome. Corporate training job at the Edge in Connecticut. So I feel like everyone, once you work at the Edge, like everyone in Connecticut in the training game works at the Edge at some point.
Everyone did. Oh yeah.
It's like
everybody did it. So
everybody did it. It's like everyone's starting point, but it really is awesome. Like you meet some amazing people who have been very successful in their life. People from all different backgrounds, all different issues that you just couldn't imagine, like what people are going through, and then you have to put yourself in their shoes and try to influence them in different ways, which is just incredible. And
what was it like coming from and like training as an athlete to having experience training as an athlete or training athletes and kind of training your body that way? Oof. What was the difference between that and now coming to you're training like middle-aged women? And
right, like you have Meredith over here who's 50 and she's been sitting at a desk for the last 30 years.
A little bit of a learning curve there.
Right.
To be like, all right, we're going to start with some high knees.
Right, you start to think like, I don't understand why you guys can't squat or deadlift. But like, then you're like, hold on, like let's get her to just move first. She can't hold a body weight lunge or a body weight squat. Like, oh wow, I have to start from the beginning. Being a capable athlete your whole life, you're probably like, I don't get it. Yeah. Why are these people they're not doing well?
The first month I had like the speed ladder out, like day 2, whatever. Just
you're ready doing one-on-one blocking drills.
Yeah. I'm getting them ready for the 40.
They're like, I'm trying to lose 50 pounds. All right, I got some meatloaf for you.
Water chug.
So what was that learning curve like for you?
Yeah, but like, what can you do? You either keep doing what you know and you fail, or you adapt, right? So by the end of it, I had the stability balls out, and let's work through proper range of motion for just sitting down, standing up 20 times. All right, there's your workout for the day. Sorry. Like, they feel like they didn't work out, but you know that they got so much better. They come back the next time. They're like, wow, this is way easier. Yeah, your nervous system adapted a little bit. You look a lot better already. I think that we can start going into some, I don't know, hex bar deadlifts. No weight yet. No, you're not. Not quite. Just a little bit. And just, it was a lot of fun though, seeing those people and learning where the normal person is at, fitness wise.
Which is not an NFL athlete, a normal day-to-dayer.
Oh yeah. Scary. Right? Can you guys agree with that? Like,
yeah, sure.
Most of the people that walk in are like, it's scary. Like, you are on the verge. You have no idea. One ice patch could ruin your life right now.
The one that blows my mind all the time is like, people are like, yeah, this is my first time ever being in a gym. I'm like, damn.
You didn't see him like ever before? Or you never
like this gym or all gyms?
But at the same time, we got to be like not everyone, like, that's not their life.
Exactly.
They grow up as athletes. So
exactly.
And it's hard. It's hard. Like, obviously, Steve and I didn't play at the level Paul did, but it was tough being like, I don't understand. Like, why can't this person just squat?
Yeah.
I have to teach squat mechanics? That was a wake-up call after college. They don't teach you that.
Right.
Like, these are the movements. This is what you want everyone to do. It's like, all right, well, how what if I get a person that can't even hip hinge?
Can't even do that.
Not nowhere to be found. Like, doesn't know where their glutes are.
But
doesn't even know.
Honestly, though, like patience, communication skills, I don't know if there's a better like starting career than personal training people. Just like ripping through one person after another, strangers, approaching them. What can I do something for you? That they just it can be such an awkward start, and then by the end of it, you've developed this relationship where they totally trust you. In some cases, is to go through that process.
Yes.
I don't know another career that you could start at that would be similar.
I couldn't agree more to what you just said. Like, I mean, we all do it. Steve and I still do it. It's literally like people are like, "Oh, you're training people? It must be cool." And like, I think people think of training and they're like, "Oh, you're just barking orders at people and like real intense in the gym all day." It's like, nah. I'm building a relationship with these people. Like, imagine if you had to spend an hour twice a week with someone for the next 6 months. Like, you'd become pretty close with them, right? So I think what you just said is just so true. Like, it helps you in other aspects of life. Here's a strange person you never met before. Make a connection and fix all their physical problems. Yeah. You know?
Have you guys ever had like a client like call you out and be like, you need to change the way you're thinking right now, or you're communicating terribly to me. Like, this is not how we do it. No. Never?
No. We're a little different than you, though.
It's true. Well, I've had a few where I guess I came off to her in the wrong way. It didn't seem like, but everybody's personality is so different.
Right. And that's it.
Which is another thing. You have to change who you're talking to as your clients change. Right. So I could have a 40-year-old guy ready to like go to work, and then come back and you got a 60-year-old lady that you need to slow down a little bit for, and has a very stressful life, and you can't bring any stresses onto her.
Well, that's the difference between, I feel like the difference between coaching athletes and personal training clients, like the average personal training clients.
Yeah.
Coaching athletes, it's one speed, right? Mm-hmm. It's just, we're here to get better. No fucking around. Everyone's on the same wavelength, right? And all the athletes know it.
Yeah.
But when it comes to personal training, like you're saying, it's different. You can't treat everyone the same. You can't. Maybe this guy you could bark orders at and scream at, and that's what motivates them. But then the next person, maybe you need to motivate them in a different way.
Then you got a client. I'll use some examples. Then you got a client that was a CFO and he had 1,500 people work underneath him. You think he's going to respond well to you? Seriously, you think he's going to respond well to you being aggressive and mean with him? He's like, nah. Like,
just tell me what
they're type A people. Most of them. Most people that can afford personal training, they have careers. Yeah. I've trained guys that they're the head of critical care in hospitals. They're doctors. Yep. Like, I can't like bark at this dude. Like, he's not going to respond to that. I can't do that.
Yeah. Nor would you ever want to. Like, that's
that's not my
unnecessary in most cases.
Yeah.
I haven't really met. I only had one trainer that was even good in that barking type of way, and he wasn't even. He was a good trainer in that his workouts were hard, right? But I mean, even me, who was ready to do anything you told me to do, it wasn't effective. Like, I don't know. I didn't get any better movement wise, or really the important things. I got to go to workout. That's like, my sister could take someone through, and no disrespect to women or anything like that, but like anybody off the street could take somebody through a good workout. Do 100 of this, do 100 of that, run up that hill 12 times. It's a good workout. Good.
Yeah, that's only one aspect of it.
It's very basic.
Yeah, anybody could. I think it was Mike Boyle who said it, but anyone could beat someone up. But can you make them better?
Yeah.
Anybody, he's like, you could take a baseball bat and beat the crap out of somebody's legs. I'm really sore. Awesome. Did that help? Did that benefit?
Right.
Did it do anything?
That's what working out is, basically.
So what's going on now? You're at Villanova Law School. Tell us about that. What are you doing there? Why is that happening?
You just jumped ahead on me, huh?
What's up? What I missed?
No, that was it. I feel like we were just, I was in a different world there for a second. Yeah.
Your personal training.
I was training. I was like, man, this is just a lot of psychology. And, I don't know
what led you to the decision for law school, first of all?
I was like, I don't know if I want to do this when I'm 60. Again, long term, am I just going to stop here? I feel like I've learned, like, there's other things to learn in the fitness field. You continue to develop yourself. But at some point, it's like we were talking about before, like, it doesn't have to be so overcomplicated to help people. Like, you got to keep it basic in a lot of ways. So I just wanted to continue to grow and get better. And I was like, I like to learn. I took how I got that CSCS also in my head. And I was like, why don't I try the same thing for the LSAT, So I was like, you could do medical school or law. Like, you can do whatever you want. All right, cool. Medical school sounds not so good. I don't want to do it. So, but law school sounds interesting. Like I could take that in a lot of different directions. I know some agents that were lawyers that could relate that back to sports. All right, cool. All right, sounds like a good plan. Let's take the LSAT and see where I'm at. So again, study for the LSAT. Woo, that was legit too. Probably like 3 or 4 months. Again, like 2 months, not so much. 3 or 4 months hardcore studying, practice tests, everything. Took the LSAT. Did pretty good. Studied again for it. Everybody does better the second time. You get 3 tries at it. Did much better the second time. Not much, but better. Enough to, with a subpar GPA, get some interest from some law schools. I had a decision between like UConn. I got into Fordham actually, but it was going to be too expensive, and I'm not a city guy. Villanova, Temple. So I chose Villanova. I mean, it's a great fit for me. It's very similar to Stonybrook, and as far as it's like in the burbs, it's super in the burbs. But you guys will see when you come down and visit. But
yeah, we will.
Yeah.
Toads.
But it's cool. It's a good time. Good.
So
people.
where do you want to take that? Like, getting a what's it, a JD, right?
Yeah, it's a JD. I could also get a JD MBA in 4 years, so I'm thinking about that option too. I have to make that decision after the first year. Everybody takes the same classes for the first year, and then it gets more specialized. I don't know if I want to go in the sports direction. It's kind of specific for me. I want to go into the corporate, maybe intellectual property direction. My thoughts right now are get involved in like the supplement industry, help people develop patents on new supplements.
Ooh, I like that.
There you go.
That'd be dope, man.
Yeah.
But also,
It's a very unregulated industry.
I'd say that's what I mean. So
I object.
$40 billion a year industry.
Yeah, for real.
another influential
Aspect
factor
of it.
Yeah,
Money.
yeah. So and there's things you can do in there as far as like prosecution and bringing suits, defending these companies. Whatever's a good fit. I don't want to get caught up in like really those big firms. That's not really my style to do that. Because I feel like that's just all about money, getting stuck in those big corporate lawyer.
I know a few people that are corporate lawyers, and they refer to it's like, oh, you like your job? You like what you're doing? No. But they can't quit. They call it the golden handcuffs.
Yeah.
Because they make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And it's all money driven, and they live a certain lifestyle, and they have families. So for them to change careers would be real tough, but they hate it. They absolutely hate it.
It's a good point. It's been very helpful throughout this whole process it's been me pretty much. Like I'm not locked down by anything, and I can make decisions like, oh, law school sounds good. I'll start studying for the LSAT.
I'm going to go to Villanova.
Yeah.
Nice.
So.
Would you say your time, what lessons did you learn being a professional athlete, or just an athlete in general, but being a professional athlete, did you say that helped you a lot in life with accomplishing goals, having a goal, setting it, I'm going to do it no matter what?
I think mostly it helps you with, and any person who has success in athletics, it helps with the confidence of knowing that you can achieve something. Also, failing and going through that and realizing it's not the end of the world is huge. It takes away a lot of fear of life to know that you can not succeed at something, and it's still going to be all right.
Especially to learn that at 23.
Yeah. And at a pretty big scale for a lot of people. But again, for me, it wasn't that big a scale because I have such a good support system and so much experience with success and failure, and it's going to be all right. Like, it's not the end of the world. It's a football career at the end of the day, right?
Right.
So that was the biggest thing that it taught me, honestly. As far as like the discipline that goes into it, that was taught much earlier through my father and through just my upbringing and the people that have influenced me throughout my life that were out of, only a gift from God put in front of me, because there's no reason why my next door neighbor was going to be a bodybuilder and influence me to start lifting weights like it's a habit when I was just old enough to do it, 13 years old. I've been lifting since I was 13 years old, like almost every day, because that's what you do.
Right.
To have the kid down the road be just this animal of a football player and show me, you don't just play football, you try to hurt people, and this is how you do it.
Yeah.
Like, and this is a kid that's like kicking my ass on the bus on the way to school every day, toughing me up. Like, I didn't have an older brother, so these people are really important and key factors in like what made me, gave me the discipline and who I am right now. So
Solid, bro. So just building straight toughness.
that's a lot of football, especially playing center football.
Yeah, dude, I know. I was all up in you a couple times. That was freshman year, though.
In the trenches.
Steve was a quarterback. And, just going to throw it out
The
there.
best quarterback.
Just want to clarify when you said I was all up in you. I just want to make sure people knew.
The best quarterback.
Don't know what you're talking about.
I wasn't a center in high school, though, so...
Yeah, freshman year you did, remember? You played a little bit.
Center?
Yeah.
You remember we put that pill in your drink and then you woke up. Steve's hands are in your butt. I mean,
that lasted like 2 days.
Yeah.
You're out to tackle.
We put
Steve,
you in the
why do you
center
keep-
in the showers. That's what we did.
Steve, why do you keep lining up underneath?
I see what you did there.
So, social media, where can people find yo ass? Social media.
Fell asleep for a second there.
At Radio City Music Hall.
I don't know social media. What are you talking about? I don't know.
Like, what's your Instagram?
dog?
I think it's like...
It's at Paul Fen. Paul_Fen.
Oh, thank you. Paul_Fen.
I'm his PR guy.
That's it? There's no numbers? There's no 75?
What's your AAM screen name?
Yeah. You on MySpace?
Yeah.
I'm gonna look it up right now. Make sure it's Paul.
Do you have any good jokes
I'm
that you want
surprised
to
there's no
send
like
off?
PFEN 75, something like that.
Do you have a good joke that you usually
Paul?
go to?
No.
Jokes or pickup lines?
I don't
Nothing?
Pickup lines. I don't
You got good one. Come on.
Come on, dude.
That's your thing.
A joke.
Pickup line?
A pickup line. A joke.
Bro, you
Or
walk
pickup
up to a
line.
girl. You're 6'2", you're 250. Look like Channing Tatum on steroids. What do? You just go, come with me, and you knock her out, and then you put her over your shoulder.
I'm 250 lean. I look like the guy that ate Channing Tatum.
Hate Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
I got a good one.
I don't have any jokes. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Great. Here we go. Get ready for this, Paul.
What happens when a pig has to go to the hospital?
What?
He takes the ambulance.
Wah, wah.
I'm going to burn this house down.
No, please don't.
I just read it. It'll come to me later.
All right.
Perfect. Later when we do another podcast.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
We'll have
thank
to
you
repeat
to
this.
Manchester Guitar Center. Also, Radio City Music Hall, apparently. Don't forget to check us out. Instagram, Strength Students Podcast, right?
Correct. On Twitter, we are at Strength Podcast, and Facebook is Strength Students Podcast.
Cool. Don't forget to go to iTunes, 5-star review, Stitcher, 5-star review, if that's how that works on there. I've obviously never been on there.
Playgirl.com, 5-star review.
Check out our Grindr profile. Oh, fuck. I forgot to hit record.
You stop. You said that the first 5 episodes.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Glad to have you back in Connecticut.
For the night.
So long.
Oof.